Ragazzi e ragazze, bentornate. Welcome back to Tactics Imperivm, your go-to place for tactical breakdowns and all things Italian football, a podcast powered by Serie A Spotlight. So guys, I invite you to check out Serie A Spotlight across all social media platforms. And today, we are diving into a much-needed win for Juventus on Igor Tudor's debut as coach. Yep, the Bianconeri are back on track with a gritty 1-0 victory over a red-hot Genoa side. And there is a lot to unpack from this one. First off, shout out to Kenan Yildiz for that absolute beauty of a solo goal. Exactly the kind of spark Juventus needed. It's fair to say though that it wasn't the most convincing performance overall, but getting 3 points here might just give them the moral boost they desperately need. They are still stuck in 5th though, still fighting to break into those Champions League spots. With plenty of big games coming up, they cannot afford to drop points. But I think this result is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, let's talk about Igor Tudor and what he's bringing to the table. Keep in mind, he didn't have much time to work with the squad, just a few sessions here and there, considering also the international window that was in the middle. So, this game was more of a teaser than a full-on statement. Still, I noticed some clear differences from how they played under Thiago Motta. First of all, he went with a 3-4-1 setup, classic Tudor stuff. 3 at the back, wing backs pushed high and 2 advanced midfielders just behind the striker. At the back, we had Lloyd Kelly and Federico Gatti as the outside centre backs. Gatti eventually made way for Pierre Kalulu after the Italian international picked up an injury earlier in the game. But the idea was pretty clear. Tudor wants defenders who are comfortable on the ball, at least from Juventus options. Building from the back is essential when you're playing with 3-man defense, and these guys are solid in that department, at least from a Tudor's point of view. In midfield, Khéphren Thuram and Manuel Locatelli, still captain of the team, because that was another question during the week after Tudor's appointment, were holding it down centrally, while Weston McKennie and Nico Gonzalez played as wing backs. Tudor clearly wanted that extra physicality and aggression on the flanks, but also guys who can slot inside if needed. However, open brackets, here we want to see further on whether both McKennie and Gonzalez will keep on playing those roles, because obviously there are other options, and obviously, for whoever watched this game, could notice that both players are not naturally wing backs, even though they did put on a solid display, especially Nico Gonzalez. Up front, we had Tom Koopmeiners and Yildiz playing off Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic was the main striker, the reference point, the target man for Juventus in this match, and we'll speak about him as well. So, one of the big talking points was Yildiz. This kid is something special, a technical leader who loves taking on players and making things happen. It was only his 11th full game in 29 Serie A matches this season, which, in my opinion, is way too little considering his talent. Yet, he showed what he's capable of with that brilliant goal, driving past defenders like they weren't even there. And, statistically, he had 4 successful dribbles out of 6, almost 90% passing accuracy and 8 ground duels won. Just pure quality, and a real game changer for the team. Now, if you want to get tactical for a second, one thing I liked was how Juventus were creating density on the left during the build-up at a certain point of the match. Thuram, McKennie and Yildiz would overload the flank to attract Genoa's press before quickly switching play or moving vertically. It was smart and gave them some breathing room, especially when Genoa tried to box them in, giving Genoa's aggressive and man-to-man marking. Also, Renato Veiga, one of Juventus' 3 centre-backs, was impressive in these situations, dropping into the left side after Locatelli moved back to form a temporary back 4, and his passing to Yildiz in the half space was spot on, breaking the press and giving Juventus a way out. Also, Locatelli was part of this passing system where he could find Yildiz either in the middle of the field or in the half space. What Tudor seems to be emphasizing is quick transitions. Regain possession and immediately look to hit forward. We saw this with Vlahovic too, using his physicality to win long balls and hold up play. It's not a huge change from Motta's approach, but it's definitely more direct. Plus, Kalulu pushing into right half space was a nice touch as well, creating an extra passing option and making Juventus less predictable. So, all in all, not a perfect performance, but some promising signs from Tudor's first outing. There's still a long way to go to get this team fully firing, but with Roma up next, under Claudio Ranieri, who's got them looking solid, it's going to be another big test at the Stadio Olimpico, as Juventus are still looking to get into that 4th place and secure a UEFA Champions League spot for next season. So, my tactical analysis comes to an end here, and I want you guys to let me know what you think. Can Tudor really get Juventus back into the top 4? Drop your thoughts in the comments or hit us up on social media. And as always, stay tuned to Serie A Spotlight for your tactical fix and all the latest from Italian football. From my end, Gian Lia, alla prossima!